Ferrari have two of the better drivers on the grid, but as a team, they haven't been backing them up with a car and strategy they need. Charles Leclerc is susceptible to the occasional awful race or big mistake. Carlos Sainz is consistent but rarely exceptional. Despite their shortcomings, they are two great drivers and Ferrari are determined to keep them. But do the drivers want to stay? Are Ferrari on the brink of losing both of their drivers? Let's check it out. Ferrari's Dutch Grand Prix was less than ideal. In the changing weather, Sainz admitted Ferrari was well off the pace and said both he and the team executed a near-perfect race to finish 5th, holding off Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton and McLaren's Lando Norris at the checkered flag. I would say after looking at the Alpine, we were more like the 6th fastest car this weekend, said Sainz. I know at some point it looked like we even could fight for a podium, but the reality is that when the race was settled, when you look at our pace, we were just nowhere. We actually did a whole video on Monday about everything that has been going wrong at Ferrari and why the Dutch Grand Prix was so bad for them. Carlos Sainz needed the defensive showing of a lifetime just to hold 5th place. Charles Leclerc's terrible pit stop and collision with George Russell meant we never saw quite how slow his car was. However, to battle Liam Lawson for 15th place on his debut in the worst car on the grid definitely wasn't how Charles pictured his race going. Years of disappointing seasons for both Ferrari drivers has created a number of rumours about team changes and chances elsewhere. On current form, there are at least 4 teams that would offer a more competitive car, and if Carlos Sainz is right, Alpine could be an option as well. We'll start with the Spaniard because his potential departure has been public knowledge for a long time now. Surprisingly, it isn't one of the teams that is currently faster than Ferrari that Carlos is looking to move to. It is actually Alfa Romeo, soon to be Sauber, followed by Audi in 2026. Carlos Sainz Sr. is a legend in the rally world with 2 world championships and has been driving for Audi for the last 2 years in the Dakar Rally. He would have won a 3rd world title in the year 2000 if his car hadn't broken down literally meters from the line on the last race of the season. With Audi's imminent entry to Formula 1, his father's links to the team, and the desire to be the number 1 driver on a team that can actually support him, Carlos Sainz Jr. has been heavily linked with Audi. Sainz is managed by long-term agent and family member Carlos Honora, but is also advised by his father and rally driver Sainz Sr. The rumours about the link between the team and driver now have some concrete backing, as Sainz Sr. has confirmed that Audi have made contact. Of course, there is contact, but nothing concrete at the moment, he said. I think for us, it is a moment to wait and see. But of course, Audi, they are moving. They're working hard. They have the ambition to become really good, really quickly, so they are moving very, very strongly. That shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. Audi have been clear that they want to win titles and have experienced drivers that can help them develop quickly, will help make that happen. Sainz Sr. continued by talking about the links between the Sauber team boss Andreas Seidl and his son. I think the fact that Andreas was working with Carlos for a couple of years at McLaren, they know each other very well and had a really very successful time there. I think Andrea is one of the guys who really appreciates Carlos more and the quality he's able to do with the speed and the feedback, so I think he knows him very well. First of all, I think it's really good that Audi definitely made the step into Formula 1, and I think it's going to be a good place in the future, that's for sure. Sainz Jr. is out of contract at the end of 2024 and has said multiple times he wants his 2025 drive confirmed before the start of the 2024 season to stop any distractions during the season. That means a move to Sauber for 2025 could be confirmed this winter, meaning Ferrari would be on the hunt for a replacement next year. With Ferrari currently the 5th or 6th fastest car on the grid, there are many good options from the teams below them. Alex Albon could be one to go for. Could you see Lando Norris stepping out of McLaren, a team that's built around him, to drive for a Ferrari that is slower than his current car? I definitely can't. Maybe Lewis Hamilton could be an option, as his Mercedes contract doesn't seem to be any closer to being signed than it was over a year ago. Sainz apparently would prefer to stay at Ferrari for the time being. He might be saying that to the media and Ferrari, but doing something completely different in the background. If a deal with Audi doesn't happen, he doesn't want to put Ferrari off in the meantime. For now, he can play both teams and pick the option he prefers. If Ferrari has to replace him, that is a problem. If they have to replace Leclerc as well though, then they will be royally effed. It is probably Leclerc they need to be more worried about. Carlos Sainz might only have Audi hunting him, but Leclerc has far more suitors. With a measly 3 podiums in 13 races and yet to challenge Red Bull for a Grand Prix win, Leclerc is beginning to become frustrated with Ferrari's lack of progress. The problems from last year have not been solved, and the team is still unable to improve their car in any meaningful way. Around them, teams are making leaps forward in performance while they crawl along. Leclerc has been playing the same game as Sainz, saying he wants to prioritize staying at Ferrari, but like Sainz, he can't burn a bridge he's still standing on. Le Mans winner Richard Bradley recently said that there are a lot of teams that would be interested in Charles Leclerc, including Mercedes. He said there are other options that could soon be available at either Mercedes, should Lewis Hamilton retire, or Aston Martin if the Silverstone team drops Lance Stroll. At the end of the day, he's not really a rookie anymore. He's quite an experienced Formula 1 driver, and his street credibility in the paddock is very, very high. There's a lot of people who would seriously consider Leclerc. What if Hamilton retires? Mercedes for sure would have the conversation with him. And then Aston Martin with the Stroll situation. All of a sudden, you look at the lineup of Alonso and Leclerc, and that's extremely exciting. So I don't really blame him. While Sainz and Leclerc both have options elsewhere, their situations are very different. Sainz consistently delivers for the team. It's rarely spectacular, but at least they know what they'll get from him each race, which is more than can be said of Leclerc. Leclerc's frustrations with Ferrari may be matched by the Scuderies, with Leclerc crashing several times this season. He added to his tally at the Dutch Grand Prix when he crashed in qualifying, while contact with Oscar Piastri on the opening lap of the race ended his point-scoring chances. He has a really bad habit of doing this. France 2022, he crashed from the lead, ending his race. Imola last year, he crashed while trying to chase down the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, losing a podium place. He had a massive shunt in Mexico in FP2 as well. He did the same thing to the 1974 Ferrari that was driven by Niki Lauda in Monaco at the historic Grand Prix last season. I could go on, there are a lot of them. He might be fast, but his mistakes are an expensive problem for Ferrari. Could they trust him to consistently be fast over a whole season and mount an actual title challenge? Or is the frequency of his mistakes going to always hold him back? If Leclerc does leave, perhaps in a swap with Hamilton or to Aston Martin, the team he joins will be getting a fast driver, but one who still needs some work. If both drivers go at the end of 2024 or sooner, Ferrari are going to be in a bad place. Their underperformance in recent years has made them less attractive, and their current form is only making that worse. They don't have an incredible youth talent to bring into the team either. Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon is an absolute best-case scenario, but they would need a miracle to pull that off. Do you think both Ferrari drivers will leave the team next year? Or will Ferrari give them a reason to stay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.